Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Fantastic Interviews, where I interview the great minds on the planet that will bring you information and technology that will improve your mind, your body, and the planet. And today I have the honor of introducing you, if you haven't met him already, to Gary Pratt, aka Thunder. Gary is a old-time friend. I interviewed him many years ago on a show I had called Venice Talk Show. Fascinating young man. And I'm going to read a little intro. Well, first off, welcome to the show, Thunder.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Marty.
I'm going to read the audience. The audience today is going to be enthralled with some really great information and technology today. But let me read the intro so they know who you are. And it goes as such. When great minds gather, it brings out a rare chance to meet the epic genius mind of Gary, aka Thunder Pratt, the godfather of applied quantum mechanics and MFG of advanced technology from HelidiumLabs.com. No scientist can debunk today when an image that appears on your phone via text message can completely turn your car into an air purifier in minutes. Now, can you imagine what Helidium can do for the human body? Former chief engineer and scientist at Hughes Satellite, as well as MCI WorldCom, he is an exotic technology reverse engineering scientist at CORE, which stands for Centers of Reverse Engineering. He was professor in advanced CGI physics at the Video Gaming Academy Hollywood, founder, CEO of Treehouse Consulting, an environmental think tank who did the first live experiment on Coast to Coast with George Noory and broke the laws of thermodynamics when he changed the temperature of water 9 degrees with then prototype thermal smart quantum hologram invented in 2003. As a fifth-generation farm kid from Iowa, I used to build at silos in Iowa, and president with Future Farmers of America in high school, today he developed frequency fertilizer as the world-class leader in plant yields growing true organics. He developed the highest grade biofuel blend and high-performance diesel blends, setting the only EPA-compliant levels at Ohio State University and California Environmental Engineering Labs, while increased horsepower and fuel economy by an unheard of 40+% on many engines, with an average of 25% on 92,000 cars in 44 countries. He's a world record holder and has reduced more pollution toxins in the air than anyone in history. He has the best record tested cell phone EMF reduction lab report, and I can attest to that, from Intertech Testing Labs and smart meter EMF reductions. He had made power factor gains from 71 to 98% on breaker box performance, cutting electric costs on homes from $370 down to $68 a month, with a hologram that you simply stick to your breaker box. He's got some great stuff, ladies and gentlemen. He worked with winner dog sled team in the Yukon 1,000-mile race with musher Lance McKay, Ironman championship winner in Hawaii, with Jason Fowler from a wheelchair, pro NFL teams Seattle and Green Bay Super Bowl wins, Kentucky winning horse, broke track records in NASCAR at Irwindale and Tucson. Turned down Gia TV and several YouTube BS a lot projects. I'm not sure what that is. But chose pilot TV shoots that Hollywood simply cannot air because of the disruptive technology of Helidium Labs. The government does not want disruptive technology, so Thunder has been a fly in the ointment, so to speak. Well, that's just a partial list of what Thunder has done. Thunder, welcome to the show, and thank you for being a friend and at times a co-host on the Dr. Fantastic show.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess we never have all this time really went over some of the things that I've done in my career. And I'm just about to turn 50, so I appreciate the young man comment you made earlier.
Anyone younger than me is a young man. So I want to go over your top 10 environmental or Halidium Lab inventions that make the world a better place. So you were telling me earlier that we need 4 basic elements in life, and that's air, and that's water, and then food and shelter, in that order. There are, we don't need clothes, like you said. They're helpful at times, especially in Alaska. But shelter, if it's a warm shelter, you can be naked, I guess, right?
Correct. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, there are some things that, medicine is also, we kind of, and money, we kind of put those on the necessity list. But really, they're not, as far as a species is concerned, air, food, water, and shelter is pretty much what we need to survive.
So, on topping your list of your 63,000 different Halidium Lab holographic quantum physics devices, and I've tested a few with my own eyes. If you go to BeFantasticToday, ladies and gentlemen.com, you'll see the EMF reducer working live. It was one take, and it worked, and it just shows you how the text that we can send you will reduce your EMF. So we show it both on and off the phone with a cell sensor that you can buy and test for yourself the electromagnetic frequencies coming out of your phone. By the way, if you're listening, if you go to iPhone, if you have an iPhone and you go to settings and go to general and go to about and go to legal and scroll down to RF, of course no one reads the legal disclaimers, it will tell you not to use your phone with near your head, or keep it in your pocket, and because it's a possibility
near your head.
Near your head, yeah, near your head. Then on my smartphone, which is a Note 8, under that disclaimer, their disclaimer, it says if you use your phone in excess of 1/2 hour a day for 10 years, which is ludicrous, everyone uses it more than that, it can lead to brain tumors. That's what my phone says. So, ladies and gentlemen, an EMF reducer can put you at ease in your own mind, but it can literally and figuratively help your health. So that's one of his things. And then I've noticed with a heat gun off my yacht, we put out one of his what do you call it? Heat reduction stickers on a building. And with my heat gun on the glass of the building, within a minute or so, it reduced the temperature of the building. So with my own eyes, I've seen demonstrations. With the EMF reducer, we drove a rig across country. This rig was carrying a bridge truss. It wasn't going to pass certain smog standards in certain states, and they weren't going to be able to get the bridge truss across country. We put a sticker on it, and it blew 0 emissions across country, and it was a great success. We got many, many, many stories, but today I want to talk about your top 10, and your environmental line with anti-smog is without air, which was the number 1 on our list. We were a species that could, kill ourselves. So let's go with number 1, anti-smog device.
Absolutely. I mean, it was really my first anti-toxin frequency that I really went after, and out of the whole, it's like a grand slam. I'll never forget the first time I actually, I was standing behind my it was that year. I had a '98. It was a Jeep. It had the 5.9 Hemi, big super engine. They only made it 1 year in a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And I was standing there behind the Jeep, and the neighbor said, this is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of a laundry vent or a laundromat. And I was like, yeah, this is really working, isn't it? We just stopped pollution out of gasoline in a combustion engine. Wow, this is I think I might find my name in the history book someday. Moment, that was a really, really cool feeling in my life. Noticing the change in the smell of the exhaust, and then going out having it third-party validated, tested, set the world record. We've stopped 92,000 cars in the world. We've stopped pollution with. So that's that one's going to be pretty hard to ever topple as far as number one product. But there's some it's hard to make a top 10 because number 2 through 1,000 are as impressive, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, okay, so you got the anti-smog. Let's just, for posterity's sakes, let's just go to number 2.
Well, I am a farm kid from the Midwest, and in terms of our species, well, food is in that top 10 list, or top 4 things that we need. Then I'm going to put Freak 1C, because your plant will just completely freak out. One will see. Frequency fertilizer is using the infrared frequency of light that triggers photosynthesis. It's the reactionary light wave that turns chlorophyll into plant energy. So if we could increase plant yields and have your plant grow in just a little over half the time, in about 60% of the time, and experience a plant that's almost twice as large or 1.5 times bigger in half the time, you can well imagine that, in the agriculture arena, the Department of Agriculture, which is the only profitable division of our government, we're talking about a pretty valuable aspect in life. So replacing dangerous herbicides, insecticides, that stuff that Mom Satan wants you to spread out there all over the fields, causing problems for our farmers. Yeah, those are now eradicated. And when you put these poisons out into the soil, guess what? They're going to get into, which comes into number 3, water. Our frequency water system seal is what we're doing there is we basically filter through over 300 toxins that are coming through the water, most importantly fluoride and fluoride is great for your teeth. That's what your dentist is going to tell you, but your neural surgeon is going to tell you it put holes in your brain and made you stupid. So let's get that out of there. Chlorine. If you can imagine the purest drinking spring that's just dripping out of the ground there at the foot of a mountain, starts a beautiful stream and turns into a river. If you can imagine the water at the purest point there where it's coming out, that's the frequency that we utilize, etch-a-sketching away all of those impurities in your water by implosion. So we will send a frequency that will capture those toxins and impurities, and we render them inert, and then they centrifugally pass through as if they were imploded. And when you implode water, well, that's 26,000 pounds per square inch. Mitochondria can't even survive that type of pressure. So that'd be number 3.
Wait. Let me stop you for water first. I lived in the hills without running water or electricity, and we had water from the well and from the stream. And I've never tasted such delicious water in my life as from a stream. It's crisp, it's clean, it's cold, it's delicious. And I tell you, it's water is the most precious commodity. When all electricity goes out and a disaster hits, water, of course, it's more expensive than gasoline today. if you go to the market and try to buy a little glass of water. But it is a very good product, water. I highly recommend drinking a lot of it every day. So let's go down number 4.
Well, you didn't have power. Well, if you have power, that means you got shelter. So then let's look at a couple of things that we can do around the house. Let's start with our fourth and my favorite. This is my favorite product of all time. Now, it's not ranked as my first important, but in terms of favorites, you're not supposed to have a favorite child. Hey, I got one of those too. So favorite hologram would be Thermal Smart. And Thermal Smart breaks the laws of thermodynamics as we know it. I can proudly say that I broke the laws of thermodynamics, and I'm not in handcuffs.
Yet.
We have changed temperatures that are flat out just bizarre. Your air conditioning, you can take your laser thermometer. You go buy them at Home Depot. They're like $20-$30. You point the laser at the wall, it'll tell you the temperature. Point the laser at the vent, it'll tell you the temperature of the air coming out. All right, so we're looking at temperatures of between 60 and 62 degrees, 63, somewhere in there. Right around where your air conditioner vent AC is coming out. You place one of our thermal seal stickers on the vent itself. That's it. Just peel and seal. You will, in 5 minutes, start to see air conditioning air that's coming out 40, I've seen 44s, 42s, around 48, 49. So anywhere from almost 15, 12 to 15 degrees colder air coming out of your air conditioner. That's a little bizarre, How do you explain that? The temperature is then on the walls on the outside of a building on a hot summer day, 150. Put a seal on it, and I'll take a temperature. 5 minutes later, the wall is 105.
I did that personally.
45 degrees.
I did that with you with my thermal gun, as I mentioned earlier. And actually, we did it on a frying pan. Remember the frying pan we heated up? And you threw one of your seals onto it, and right in front of the camera, in front of our eyes, it dropped 40, 50 degrees. It burned up the hologram, but it definitely dropped the temperature.
We lost. We sacrificed that one for interest of science that day. Yeah. I had a friend who had a motorcycle out in, that was in Phoenix, little dirt bike. And we took a thermal and we put it on a block of wood, and we set it on top of his exhaust pipe, and then we measured it with the heat gun. We saw a 450 degree exhaust drop down to 180 degrees in 30 seconds. The engine is running. How do you explain that? That one's pretty cool.
And these kind of things can be tested with real equipment. Dynameters. You did something with the Harley Davidson off the shelf, brand new. Do you have video of that, by the way? I want to get a video of the Harley Davidson report. Do you have anything on that?
Yeah, sure. That was when Jason, he won the Ironman you mentioned earlier. Jason Fowler, our fleet manager out of Boston, his uncle owns several Harley Davidson dealerships across the country. Took a brand new out of the box crate Harley, and they ran it on a dyno, as well as ran it in a smog box, custom built for motorcycles. And I'm telling you, these guys are trying at Harley Davidson. I mean, they're trying to get 1/4 of 1 horsepower more out of these engines. Okay. Jason pulled his. Did we do? I think he did a phone with that one, or yeah, I think he held the hologram on a piece of tape and stuck it to the side of the gas tank. Is all he did. He showed a 7 horsepower and torque gain. I mean, that's a lot on a bike. When you see a 7 horsepower jump and 8% more torque.
And what's that device?
I mean,
what do you call that device? That particular one?
That's our anti-smog. Yeah.
Oh, that's the anti-smog one.
Reduced
Okay.
emissions device. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The anti-smog. It literally had the officials at Harley in disbelief. I mean, there's 8 more horsepower out of the air. that was tough for them to swallow. But yeah, then the next day we went to a place and we measured the electrical consumption on a building, and then there's a company out of they're out of Florida, and they built a capacitor that you attach to a breaker box, and it reduces electrical consumption and cuts down your power by increasing power factors. Well, I was intrigued by that particular concept in electrical power, and so I thought, well, why not create just a hologram version of this box, and then all you'd have to do is peel a seal and stick it to your breaker box and shut your door. That's it.
What's this one called?
That rounds up the top 5. Well, we call it the Halidium breaker box seal. Not a special name because it does. This one is designed what it says on the side of the box. You just put it on your breaker box.
Right.
And what you'll find there is electrical consumption power factor is increased. And when you increase your power factor, you are decreasing the load that you need every time you flip on a light or another appliance in your home. And if you reduce that, then you're reducing your cost as well. And so we have shown that to be an average of 30 and in many cases 50%, but a good average across the country, depending on what their rates are. 30% of their utility bill is decreased, and then if you springboard that with the thermal, giving that heat insulation factor, that's a 1-2 knockout of knocking your electrical heating cooling costs 60% on an average annual.
And you've got lots of testimonials through the years. Lots of testimonials that I know of. This stuff works.
Well, with 90,000 products shipped out in 40 countries, we've had less than 22 products ever returned back to our company.
And that's the good thing is these are money back. 90. These are money back guaranteed products for the people that are going to purchase these things. So number 6 on the list.
I'll never forget, Monty, the first time someone called me and asked me about a money back guarantee. I told him, I said, I'm not sure what to do. I've never had one before. Hold on, I'm going to have to call PayPal and go through their policy and procedures because I'm not sure what we're supposed to do here.
Okay, number 6.
Number 6. Well, probably anti-mold at that point. It's a big problem, and also coupled with the anti-mold, and because they're both in kind of similar, is they're right next to each other as far as necessity, I guess, would be anti-termite frequency as well. Which then kind of segues us into, and I'll round out a couple of the last 3 with a few health lines that we started working with. And closing out the top 10 would be your EMF reducer that everyone needs to go to your website. They're getting a heck of a deal. The EMF, ladies and gentlemen, is cheaper than brain cancer. I don't know how else to say it. It's a wonderful product, and you might as well keep your. Since cell phones are now part of our new necessity.
Now, what about the DigiMed? Where was that on the list there?
Well, DigiMeds is not actually a product as it is a process or a service.
Oh, okay. Tell us about DigiMeds.
Yeah, DigiMeds just had a jump last night. We didn't go from DigiMeds to DigiMeds 2.0. We actually went straight to DigiMeds 10.0. We had a humongous evolution jump in energy medicine here last evening, wherein a gentleman out of Texas that has been building the most highest grade energy orgone pieces using our powered by Helidium that are available anywhere in this dimension. That's for sure. We're probably a little stronger than some other dimensions. But this planet, we certainly are the world leader in orgone equipment. And we just last night are going to encase orgone frequencies with Helidium Health holograms and combine the two into our DigiMeds. So what that means, you send us a hair and a fingernail, and we will encase your hair and fingernail into a small orgonite resin that's you can see through it, so you'll be like looking in and seeing your hair and your fingernail, along with a host of holograms that are setting correct energy vibration frequency patterns and are amplified using the orgonite. So just literally having a cool, maybe a centerpiece for your table or something you can put on the fireplace mantle, you can not only broadcast a wonderful energy field that is healing you, we can utilize that to specifically target your DNA. So it's digital medicine. That's what DigiMeds are. We have digitalized homeopathic as we know it. And homeopathics were, nothing worked better. We had homeopathics from around 1720s, 1740s, I believe, up until really the early 1920s and 30s, when Big Pharma decided that, those were snake oil salesmen, that you need to take our pill, which will destroy your liver and give us immense profits. And they sold us the medicine that we use today.
They actually outlawed homeopathic because it was against them making money, and now it's coming back, which is nice, just like it's amazing what big money. They all care about is money. We live in a very greedy, selfish, litigious world, and it's a shame.
Monty, they say there's no money in the cure. I completely disagree with that statement. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the most amazing medical system available out there today. Solution is the best word I can use. We are not a food, nor are we a drug. I am a text therapy. So it's kind of cool. We fall under the guidelines of the FCC, and the Federal Communications Commission is keeping the FDA off our backs. So, there's no need to worry if our products are safe, because one thing is certain, that if they were dangerous, it would have killed me in the lab. So as long as I'm sitting around continually getting younger, because I'm looking younger all the time. I'm not aging, at all. it's kind of scary.
Yeah. I
Um,
want to remind the audience, one of our previous episodes, we had Augie Nost on, and he was telling us about the Nobel Prize winners that discovered the secret to aging, which is what's the word for it again? I'm losing the word. Come on, help me out here.
What we utilized in the telomeres.
Telomeres. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. And if you keep those healthy, they won't unravel, which is why we age, because we don't put the right elements in our body and we don't think properly. So those are the ingredients for aging. And once you get it right, you won't age. And plus, coupled with your technologies, that's going to help.
It's exactly what we do. We send a intrinsic information that is delivered to the telomeres to properly hydrate and mineralize your body. Proper monatomic is also another health code that I'm in love with, which is called ORME. Out on the urban myth known as ORMUS, we've now understood, working with the top researchers in that field, that it is ORME, orbitally rearranged monatomic elements, and they are essential to our into a well balanced with a harmony in life. That's my top 10. It's my fantastic collection.
Speaking of fantastic, with your technologies that help the body and the planet, and if people were to start being fantastic, and that's merely just saying you're fantastic when people ask you that age-old rhetorical question, how are you, which you'll be asked the rest of your life, being fantastic really does some great things. It releases it makes you smile, which releases endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. These neural messenger units in your brain that make you feel great, reduce your stress, which makes you live longer. So with Helidium Labs and Dr. Fantastic's advice, you're going to live a longer and happier life. So you can find these products we're talking about at befantastictoday.com. Scroll down, you see a video. We're going to put more videos up. We've got the great video of the EMF reducer working. And for those who subscribe to Uplifting Interviews with Total Strangers, the normal $29.95 price is only $19.95. So that's a very small price to pay for your health. And we're going to probably have the prices for everything else up there soon. And we want you to tune in and listen to our podcast, listen to Uplifting Interviews, listen to Thunder has a new show called Nori and the Yeti, because Thunder is a Yeti. And he's a great Yeti. He's one of the most fascinating Yetis I've ever met. And
it's been it's a fun process too.
Yeah.
Getting into talk show to go out there and explain and educate. That's my greatest thrill.
And we have a new website launching that's going to contain my podcast, my websites, my talk shows, and Thunders, and a few others, and it's called Video. What is it called again?
That's at live. Or I'm sorry, that's at videoshow.live.
Yeah.
Where you take your video shows and you're ready to go live with them. You can archive them all in one area. So again, videoshow.live. I'm super stoked to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, that's exciting. Because Thunder being in homeopathic medicine and Helidium technologies and attending many conferences on health and wellness is intrinsically intertwined in a world of fascinating human beings that have great knowledge to increase your health and happiness. And it's great to have you as a guest. We've had Thunder and I have had some shows on our own, and we're just going to continue down the path of making the world a better place. How's that sound, Thunder?
Sounds like the best thing to do, man.
And we have one other final show. And Thunder, what are we going to do this year?
Same thing we do every year, Dr. Fantastic. Continue our mission and save this planet.
And we're going to save the planet. We're going to save the humans on it. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening. It's been 35 minutes with Thunder. We're going to do it again and again and have fun with it. And just everyone, be fantastic. It's a great way of living, of being kind to one another. Fantastic people will let you in traffic. They'll open doors for you. They're going to say thank you. And they're going to be kind. Just like Ellen says, be kind to one another, everybody. Be fantastic. Have a fantastic 2019. Thunder, thank you for everything you're doing for the human race and the planet. And everybody, be fantastic.